You should be ashamed. Calling yourself a community that cares.
Oh, but we do care, Nicholas.
It's all about the greater good.
The greater good.
How can this be for the greater good?
The greater good.
How can this be for the greater good?
The greater good.
Shut it!
Hey, true believers, Englentine here, and I've got something different for, actually, I think I don't know if any YouTuber has done this. Anyway, I really do like this community. I do. I like this comic book community of YouTubers that we've created, of people who like to watch our videos and such. However, there are some of us who I think are not getting the views and subscribers that they deserve. You know, and it could just be the fact that when you start small, it's really hard to be heard. It's really hard to be seen. So I thought it might be fun to put some of their videos on my channel. Now, I have gotten permission. I will not put any video without permission, and they get to pick out what video they feel best represents them. And, of course, the success of this relies on you. You tell me if you like this idea or not, and I will, of course, react accordingly. So, once again, this is by a gentleman named Comix Division. The link will be to his channel will be in the description below if you like his videos. Comment just the same as you would one of mine. I'll tell him, you know, you've got some things to answer too, so we could come on over and answer any question you may have. Also, and this of course does need to be said, while we are friends, and while I do appreciate his videos, his thoughts and opinions are of his own, and so is his language. I try to watch mine best as I can during my videos, but I do not ask anybody else to do the same on theirs. Anyway, here you go, a video picked out by Comix Division. This is what he felt best represented him. I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, go over to his channel. Links in the description below.
Hey everybody, it's your old pal Comix Division, and tonight we're going to be talking about social justice and how it's ultimately probably going to cause the downfall of Marvel. Now, I found this article probably around mid-July, and it's something I found really fascinating because the person that wrote this article is a social justice warrior, and they are talking about social justice as a church or a religion. And it was something I found pretty interesting. This is something I have heard before, so it's really not anything new, but it's interesting to see it from the point of view of an SJW. Now, I'm only going to read certain key points to illustrate my point. I will provide a link to the article, so you can go read this blog post and make an informed decision for yourself. Okay, so let's get into it. Alright, so I want to talk about the section right here. But as someone who has spent the last decade recovering from forced conversion to evangelical Christianity, I'm seeing disturbing parallels between religion and activism in the presence of dogma. And I agree, there are those parallels. They do exist. If you've ever watched any of Tim Pool's videos where he's going out to those protests, there's been instances where you have the Antifa side basically saying, don't engage the other side, shout them down, don't have a conversation. And that is some very cult-like behavior. So I do want to read the entire section on seeking purity, mainly because it's very pertinent as to what is going on in social justice and as you see it in activism as well as Marvel Comics. There is an underlying current of fear in my activist community, and it is separate from the daily fears of police brutality, eviction, discrimination, and street harassment. It is the fear of appearing impure. Social death will follow when being labeled a bad activist or simply problematic enough times. So basically what we're talking about here is heresy. Are you committing crimes against social justice? I have had countless hushed conversations with friends about this anxiety and how it has led us to refrain from participating in activist events, conversations, and spaces because we feel inadequately radical. I actually don't prefer to call myself an activist because I don't fit the traditional mold of public figure marching in the street and interrupting business as usual. When I was a Christian, all I could think about was being good, showing goodness, and providing my parents and my spiritual leaders that I was on the right path to God. All the while, I believe I would never be good enough. so I had to strain for the rest of my life towards an impossible destination of perfection. Now, I have seen this very similar anxiety amongst Christians. Are they good enough? And you're seeing the exact same thing going on within the social justice activist. I've heard very interesting parallels between social justice activism and Christianity. The only thing that is missing is the salvation and Jesus. Now, just like Christianity, there is original sin and social justice. And white privilege is a perfect example of this. Because you are born white, you are born unclean and sinful, and you must come forth and repent at the Church of Social Justice. Come, young child, confess your sins, for you shall not find forgiveness, because you are the oppressor. And if you are part of the movement, and you commit a sin against the movement, you will face social death. And it's very interesting because if you've ever studied the early church and religion, the idea of questioning whether the church was correct was blasphemy, and you're seeing the exact same parallels here within social justice. I feel compelled to do the same things as an activist a decade later. I self-police what I say in activist spaces. I stop commenting on social media with questions or pushback on leftist opinions for fear of being called out. So the whole idea is if you violate the hive mind, you're in trouble. I'm always ready to apologize for anything I do that a community member deems wrong or oppressive or inappropriate. No questions asked. And that's fucked up. You should question everything. Nothing is above criticism. Not even our movement. We are allowed to question things. We are allowed to question Captain Cummings and diversity in comics. Why? Because we're individuals and not a collective. The amount of energy I spend demonstrating purity in order to stay in the good graces of a fast-moving activist community is enormous. Activists are some of the most judgmental people you will ever meet, myself included. Yes, you are correct. Because God forbid, if you are found guilty of wrongthink, they will go after your job and try and get you fired because you violated the hive mind. There's so much wrongdoing in the world that we work to expose, and yet grace and forgiveness is hard to come by in the broader community. And that's kind of the issue that freaks me out about all this is we all make mistakes. We're human. We're gonna fuck up. We're gonna say something stupid. We're gonna accidentally offend somebody. That is life. But the whole idea of going and destroying a person because of that is really fucked up. And you see this going on in Marvel. You see what's going on with the doxing and the Twitter blocking, because God forbid we actually have a conversation and be civil to one another. At times, I found myself performing activism more than doing activism. I'm exhausted, and I'm not even doing real work I am committed to do. The quest for political purity is a treacherous distraction for the well-intentioned activist. That's pretty fucked up. It's like you're not allowed to be yourself. You have to follow the hive mind. You have to follow the collective. It's pretty fucked up. And again, this is demonstrating how social justice warriors will turn on themselves at the drop of a hat. And you can see this happening to Marvel right now with the whole Northrop Grumman thing that happened at New York Comic Con, because they dared to partner with a manufacturer of weapons. You have articles that are being written by the Mary Sue as well as Bleeding Cool about the situation. It's fucking ridiculous. Preaching and punishment! Telling people what to do and how to live out our lives is endemic in religion and dogmatic activism. Again, another great parallel. It's not that my comrades are the bosses of me, but the dogmatic activism creates an environment that encourages people to tell other people what to do. Yes, dogma does that. You can see that throughout history. This is especially prominent on Facebook. Oh boy, is it. I do have friends that are social justice warriors. They're very left-leaning and very progressive. God forbid you try and have a conversation and present another side. I had a friend of mine, the situation revolved around the whole punch Nazi thing, and somebody was not defending that, and my friend was like, don't try and come off like you're sympathizing with Nazis, because you are. And it's like, what the fuck? Seriously? Because you are against violence? You are basically a white supremacist? That's fucked up, man. That is fucked up. And by the way, I don't like Nazis, so if you want to say that I am one, you can go fuck yourself. Scrolling through my news feeds sometimes feels like sliding into a pew to be blasted by fragmented, frenzied sermon. I know that much of the media posted there means to discipline me to be a better activist and community member. But when dictates aren't followed, a common procedure of punishments ensues. Punishment for saying, doing, believing the wrong things include shaming, scolding, calling out, isolating, or eviscerating someone's social standing. Discipline and punishment have been used for all of history to control and destroy people. Absolutely, you can see this happen to Copernicus and Galileo because they participated in wrongthink. Why is it being used in a movement meant to liberate all of us? That's a very good question, because it's not about liberation, it is about control. It is about controlling the narrative, and it's about controlling people, and it's about being plugged into the hive mind. We all made serious mistakes and hurt other people, indirectly or not. We get a chance to learn from them when those around us respond with kindness and patience. Where is our humility when examining the mistakes of others? Because you're not allowed to make mistakes. You are supposed to be pure. That's why. If not, you will be nailed to a cross for all to see. Why do we position ourselves as morally superior to the lowly unwoke? Who of us came into this world fully awake? And that's the whole point, is that you're posturing yourself from a position of moral superiority. A lot of times you don't have it. Advocating for violence against another human being that has not done something is not the moral high ground. Randomly walking up and punching a Nazi, you do not have the moral high ground. I'm sorry, you don't. It's not self-defense. So, what does all this have to do with Marvel Comics? Well, because we get articles like this from the Mary Sue as well as Bleeding Cool. Marvel has been found guilty of violating the hive mind. They have been deemed impure, and they will be shamed and scolded and called out, isolated, and have their social standing eviscerated.
But Comics, you do the exact same thing to Marvel.
Hush there, young child. Don't look behind the curtain. No, but seriously, I don't. I don't care about their purity. I don't want to see identity politics in books. I don't care if Dan Slott is a Democrat and voted for Hillary Clinton. I really freaking don't. I just want to see good stories, good art, and good characters. There is a huge, huge difference between what I do and what social justice warriors do to their own. The thing that sucks about it, I know that Marvel is probably strapped for cash because their sales are down, and they probably turned down several millions of dollars from Northrop Grumman, all because they got some social pressure. Stupid. Really fucking stupid. I'm pretty sure they could use the cash infusion right now. So, do I think that this is the beginning of the end of SJW Marvel? Probably not. Who knows? Maybe it is. Hopefully, if we get lucky, it will be. I don't know. And then we can get back to seeing some good books. But I am not holding my breath. Okay, folks, that's all I have for tonight. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you want to get instant notifications, click that bell. Hit that subscribe button if you can tolerate the sound of my voice. And of course, you know the routine, please share on social media. And until next time, enjoy your reads.
So there you go, gang. Comix Division. What did you think? Let us know in the comments below. Like I said, I'll make sure that he comes in and checks it out and answers any questions or any comments you have. If you did like him, go on over to his channel. Link is in the description below, and hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of the stuff he has. I do like his videos. I like his reviews and such as well. So also, hey, you're on my channel, so why don't you click like, share, subscribe if you haven't already done that, and hit that notification bell for me too. And Also, we have a Patreon or a VIDME, so go on over, drop $1 in the till, help us keep the lights on and keep making videos. Or, yeah, I know, it's kind of weird to say on a video I didn't make myself, except for the beginning and end. Anywho, once again, I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, thank you very, very much for watching.